Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to be reading a story together called Danger on My Doorstep. Thank you for bearing with us through hard history as we continue to learn about our past and the truth. And I know it's not hard, but thank you guys for being in class and for going through it with us. So the story that we're reading today is called Danger on My Doorstep. This comes from an excerpt from a story from Anita Flora Poetzer Story, a nonfiction, which means not fake, book written by Linda Schubert and published in 2012. This is from the Learning for Justice, also known as Teaching for Tolerance website. Here's our story. My aunt, uncle, and cousins had lived in eastern Germany in the small town of Allenstein, where my parents had met years earlier. Fearing for their lives, my relatives packed some essential belongings and moved into our apartment in Berlin, which was a larger city where Jewish people had a better chance of blending in than in a small town. As our family of 3 more than doubled, our household became hectic and crowded, and so we channeled our nervous energy into our household chores. The women cooked and cared for the children, and Moody's baking filled our senses with love and reassurance. We all took refuge in the ordinary tasks of daily life. Being immersed in piles of laundry served as a fortress from the constant worry of what Hitler's next terrifying move might be. The men never went outside because they were afraid of being arrested by the Nazis. Danger could be encountered in countless ways. It could be a simple knock on the door or eye contact with a soldier on the street. Our only crime was being Jewish. I remember Pappy and my uncle sitting at the kitchen table playing cards and searching their minds for ways to leave Germany. Germany was our homeland, but would not remain our home. We were living a real-life nightmare, and we desperately wanted to wake up. Throughout our ordeal, I never saw Maudie or Poppy cry. They looked ahead and found hope in America. While Germany was becoming a nightmare, America was becoming a dream. Many difficult hurdles had to be overcome before America could be a reality, however. Hitler was gaining power every day, and the Jews of Germany were becoming more fearful. Would tomorrow be the day we would be sent to the concentration camps? Some Jewish families wanted to go to Palestine, the country that is now Israel. The British, who ruled Palestine, were allowing very few German Jews to immigrate there, so this was not an option for us in the late 1930s. My family was extraordinary, amazing group of people. In the face of extreme stress, each member seemed to understand what role and task he or she should pursue. My grandmother and Pappy's mother, Hulda Powitzer, was a very wise woman. Her broad shoulders seemed as if she could support the whole family. She, too, searched for ways for us to escape the Nazis. My grandfather, who had died years before Hitler came to power, had a brother named Bernard, who left Germany before 1900. Uncle Bernard had become a dentist in New York City and was enjoying his life in America. Grossmother, also known as grandmother, Hulda, wrote to Uncle Bernard and asked him if he would send an affidavit to our family, which would guarantee the financial aid that our family would need when they arrive in America. Such affidavits assured that German families would not become the responsibility of the United States government. Without these affidavits, families could not successfully immigrate to the United States. Uncle Bernard was happy to send the papers, and Maudie and Poppy were thrilled to receive them. They had hope of the possibility of safety in America. Receiving the affidavit was only the first step in a long line of challenges, however. America had a quota system in place that restricted the number of immigrants it would receive. You were given a number and then told you had to wait until it was called in order to enter the country. In the meantime, however, Hitler had no such quota system. His goals were clear: round up, then kill as many innocent Jews that he could find. Many blameless people were slaughtered as they waited for their number to be called to go to America. Maudie and Poppy continued to look for alternative escape possibilities as they waited for their number to be called. Although many Germans did not want to help their Jewish friends, some took terrible advantage of the Jews by creating fake papers and passports with the promise of passage to South America, Cuba, and even Shanghai. Some of these papers were valid, and some people were saved. Many, however, were not. No one could be trusted. The Nazis were everywhere. Like vultures in search of prey, they were always in search of information on where Jews were hiding. A knock on the door can mean the end of our freedom, or even our lives. The end. Thank you for listening. Now that you've heard this story, we're going to take a few minutes to respond to these questions in the Pear Deck and then share out. The first question from the reading is, describe the family's actions and plan to survive the Nazis. So what do they do to keep themselves safe and hidden from Hitler and Nazis? See if you can pull anything out from the reading. And then the number 2, it says, the narrator describes the United States as a dream, but says there were many hurdles to overcome before they could get there. What were those hurdles? So what made it hard for people to try to escape Germany and get to other places such as the United States or even Cuba or Shanghai or other countries to flee? I look forward to hearing your responses.